Hey guys, and welcome to or back to the Pause in Pursuit podcast with your very tired but committed host, Summer Clark. Okay, so do you remember last Wednesday's episode where I said to you guys, if I make it through Saturday, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday alive and well, then I will be very impressed with myself? Well, it is currently Tuesday at 8:32 p.m. to be precise. And I'm here and I'm alive, so I'm waiting for my round of applause. I'm taking a bow. Thank you. I did it. But I am so tired. So tired. You could probably hear it in my voice. I'm normally not like this, but I'm just so tired. But instead of complaining about my tiredness, I'm just going to go straight into running you through my week since we last caught up. So basically, last week was the first week of my new job as social media manager for a company in London. I don't know why I'm singing. I think I'm delusional because I'm sleep deprived. Anyway, it went well. It went really well. My first week, I really enjoyed it. And I'm super happy with the position and the role and the tasks I have to do. So that was that. So firstly, Saturday, Sunday was Nottingham. And most of you have probably seen my social media posts. But if I talk too much about it, I may be sick. Saturday was great. Okay, we'll start with Saturday. I say great. I had one run that I was really happy with. And unfortunate faults in the others. But the one that I was really happy with was Champ Agility. We went clear and we came 5th out of 100 dogs, beating some incredible partnerships, which I still can't really wrap my head around. That seeing his result there really kind of reminded me of his potential for the future, if that makes sense. So that was great. Slight issue in the Champ jumping where there was a jump right next to a weave entry, 90-degree angle towards the weaves out of a straight tunnel. So you can imagine what happened. Arrow was through the tunnel and over the jump before I could really do a lot. I was shouting weave. As I saw him go towards the jump, I did yell arrow so that the whole showground and the rest of Newark probably heard, but it didn't do anything. So that stopped us getting through to the final. And then Sunday of Nottingham. Oh, yeah, so that was Saturday. Sunday of Nottingham. This is where I may be sick. So I think the universe just had it out for me that day. And that sounds really dramatic, but let me explain. And most of you probably already know what happened. So we had YKC. So Crufts qualifies, basically. YKC Jumping Cup and then Agility Dog of the Year. YKC Jumping Cup, pole down, fastest time. The pole was the 4th to last jump. However, just a side note, it was pouring it down most of the day and the ground was intensely slippy. And Arrow did face plant 3 or 4 times throughout the course of Sunday. So, he's quite clumsy as it is, he's all over the place with his little wiggly body as it is. When it's wet and slippery, he face plants quite often. Obviously, if he goes down on one side, I check him over, etc, etc. He never seems to hurt himself. Luckily, he just goes over and gets back up. Well, just goes over and is like, I'm still coming, don't worry. So that happened quite a few times. So he knocked the pole in YKC Jumping Cup qualifier and he had the fastest time by a second. And so that was really sad. And then we had YKC Agility Dog of the Year Crufts qualifiers. And I was thinking, right, that's fine. Let's brush off that run with just the pole. It's one of those things. Let's carry on. And try qualify for Agility Dog of the Year instead. So we did the... Agility round was first. We did the agility round. Guess what? Pole, 4th to last obstacle. I'm not even joking. 4th to last obstacle again, pole. But in that one, we had the 2nd fastest time. So he would have come 2nd. Okay, so that was annoying. But I was like, it's fine. The dog in first, very, very good, very fast, very experienced. Probably will qualify anyway. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Tried not to think too much about that. Anyway, we waited hours and hours for the other half of the Agility Dog of the Year qualifier, which was the jumping round. And I was like, you know what, I just want to get a nice solid clear, break the curse of the poles, just end the day. Even if we don't qualify, which we're unlikely to do already having 5 faults, let's just go for it. and get a nice solid run. It was quite a tricky jumping course for YKC, and I just went for it, and I was really happy with the run, but guess what? Guess what? He knocked a pole. It wasn't the fourth to last one, though. It was like in the middle of the course. But you know when you see like a pole come down and you get a fault, like halfway through the course, or even at the start of the course, and like you're just like cursing at yourself in your head as you carry on around the course. I literally was in complete shock and horror. And we would have won that as well by a second or whatever. And and that would have actually, so I worked out, well, again, you probably saw my story. If Arrow hadn't knocked that one pole in each of the rounds, he would have absolutely wiped the floor and we would have won overall and qualified for Crufts. So that's Jumping Cup and Agility Dog of the Year that we would have qualified for if it wasn't for one pole in each run. And looking back at the videos, he didn't like, he just clipped the pole. Like, it wasn't even like he went straight into it or he didn't take off properly or whatever. And I don't know whether it was because it was wet, but it was so depressing. It was so depressing. I'm still so depressed about it. Like, you know, I know it's the first qualifier of the year for me. Like, it's fine. We'll try and do it at a different show. It's fine, you know. But you just think, universe, surely that's just weird. That's weird. I mean, I suppose if yin and yang is a thing, we did win Agility Dog of the Year final at Crufts. So, you know, fine, you know, but it's so annoying and it's like almost unbelievable. But anyway, little rant about Nottingham over. Overall, he was bloody brilliant. Like, he was so consistent over the weekend as far as getting actual faults. And then we also had, like, not getting actual faults, if that makes sense. Like, by actual faults, I mean faults that are because he did something wrong, not because of a clipped pole. We also had Cruft singles on that day. And again, it was a hard course and he was fab. But I was behind him, obviously, because I will never beat him running, just running in a straight line, which it was. And I said, back, and he was like, no, I'm going to come in on a jump. And the rest of it was clear, just that. So it's like, at the moment, I feel like it's one thing in each run, just being like, no. But anyway, I can't complain, and I'm not complaining. It's just like almost funny, isn't it? Those polls. Anyway, I can't complain after the Crufts we had. Like, that needs to keep me going for a while. But it's still, you still get so frustrated and disheartened, don't you? Like, I was internally fuming at just the universe. I was like, no way. Anyway, so that was Nottingham. However, I do love Nottingham because it is 12-minute drive away from my house, which I love. Oh, we're back to singing. She's getting delusional again. It's going to get to 9 p.m. and I'm going to just, you don't want to be here at 9 p.m. I think I'm just going to go insane. Anyway, so that was Nottingham. So 2 days of competition. And yes, it was 12 minutes away, but it was still a long day. Like, I still got up at 6 and left at 6:30, I think. Got home at I think we got home about 7. So it's still quite a long day, you know. And emotional because I was fuming about the polls. Anyway, so those were our 2 days competing. Now, normally that's it, isn't it? But no. Monday, day after, was GB training day 2 at Dog Sports Derby. I love these training days. They're really cool, but much earlier start. And much later, early finish, but much earlier start, much earlier wake up, and more running. Like, this training day, we did more course running. Last time we did more course analysis, if that makes sense. But yeah, Monday was amazing. I loved the whole day. It was so good. Arrow was a superstar, really pleased with him. The only thing that we struggled with mainly was, so for the relay, it's obviously 4-dog relay, and a dog goes first, second, third, fourth, obviously. So to start off with, we did it in pairs. So me and Marianne did it. So we decided in our team what order we'd go in. So we stuck to that. Marianne went first and then I went second. So the point is, for just as the dog before you is taking off for the last jump, you say, okay, and you release your dog so that your dog goes over the first jump as the previous dog goes over the finish jump of their course, if that makes sense. And Greg blew the whistle, and you have to, if you're too early, it's an E, but you want to, ideally, the changeover needs to be less than a second. So And most of you will know that Arrow's start line waits have been non-existent lately, or they take me about 40 to 50 seconds at least to get him to wait without sniffing. That's a separate issue. But, so yeah, his start lines aren't great, so that was always going to be tricky. I did work out a way to get them better, but sometimes I just can't, and he's just sniffing. He's a boy, he's a spaniel, it is what it is. We're working through it. We've got some things in place to work through it, it's fine. However, that is currently our issue. Our issue previously was seesaws. He now seems pretty damn confident and good with seesaws. I haven't worried about those at all lately, touch wood. Can you hear that? I was touching wood at the end of my bed. I'm actually sat up today, not laid down in bed, by the way, because if I laid down, I would fall asleep, and I need to get this recorded without doing that. However, where was I? I've just lost my train of thought. But yeah, seesaw was an issue. Now it's kind of the start line. Again, there's always something, isn't there? Once you fix one issue, then there's another issue to fix. But anyway, so I said okay at the right time. Arrow did not release because he had his nose in the grass. So I said okay again. Then he released. 2 seconds. Too slow. Okay, fuming. Anyway, so that was an issue. So next time we decided, you know what? For actual EO, if we make the team final, I'm going to go first. So I can sort out his start line. I'll go first, and then the other 3 dogs can go after me and do the changeover. I'm hoping by then I'll have sorted his start line pretty much, but, you know, you don't want to risk it. I'm safer going first, but that's our current issue. But no, training day was really cool. Got our team jackets and caps. Well, not the official caps. I ordered an extra cap because I do love my caps. You know how it is. So yeah, we got jackets. Oh, it fits perfectly. This is literally the best fitting jacket I think I've ever had. And I couldn't even try, I never tried it on because they didn't have the ladies' ones at the day. So I originally thought I was going to get a child's one because the adult ones were huge. But then I got an email not that long ago and it was like, oh, we have ladies' smalls now. Do you want one? I was like, yes. So it's perfect. Name spelt right, everything fantastic. Had our team photo, which was entertaining. Because we had to stand in height order, and there's so many of us. It was like a nice pano of everyone in Dog Sports Derby. Anyway, you've probably seen that. It's on Facebook. I've shared it if you haven't seen it. So that was the GB training day. Got home quite early, actually. I think it was 4:30, which is very early for an agility day. And so I went to the gym to train push day because I need to. So basically, I'm working with a PT. Got 4 weight training sessions a week, and obviously Saturday and Sunday, too busy. Monday, GB training day, didn't know what time I was going to finish till a few days before, but I knew it was meant to finish by 3, so I was like, I could fit a session in when I get home. Tuesday, today, London, I knew I wouldn't have time. Wednesday, that leaves me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then I'm at Hinckley, Saturday, Sunday. So that's three days that I'm definitely able to go to the gym. What the hell am I going to do about that 4th session? Early finish Dog Sports Derby, do it when I get home. So that was good. I actually felt weirdly strong. I think I was just running off pure caffeine delusion, coffee, Monster energy that I had at lunch, etc. Then I got home and kind of flopped and panicked a little bit because I was like, oh, bollocks, I've got tomorrow to do as well, going to London for work. So I went to sleep, woke up 5:30 this morning, nearly cried in exhaustion and cracked on. Got to London. Did my work, got my content for the company. All went well. Lovely people, really happy. Came back home. Got home at about 5:30. Walked Arrow. Ordered a fat Chinese. I've eaten my fat Chinese. Had my yoghurt for dessert. Tummy's full, nice and happy. And now we're sat here recording the podcast. So yeah, that's quite a long, extended recap of my life. I also love when I'm walking around at shows, like for the YKC, etc. And I walk around thinking, all of these people probably know exactly everything about my life. They probably know more about me and my life than I do, because you literally hear what I do every single day on the podcast, which is really funny. I love it though. So yeah, there's my recap. But today, I'm going to be giving you 5 things I've learnt from Senior Team GB and EO Prep so far. Now, it's not over, obviously, but this is what I've learnt so far. You know, the first year I've been on the Senior Team GB as opposed to YKC Team GB. Prepping for the EOs, obviously before it was EOJ. And there's only 9 weeks till EO, which is unbelievable. 2 months and a week, which is, can't believe it. Exciting, but kind of scary. But anyway, yeah. So at this point in my Team GB EO journey, I'm going to give you 5 things that I've learned from it so far. And then obviously when it's all over, I'll give you another update, because we're like kind of halfway through, I guess, now. So it's when it's over, I'll give you another update of things I've learned. I'm sure I'll learn more by the end of it, especially actually competing at EO on Senior Team GB for the first time. But let's just crack on. So 5 things I've learned so far from this whole process. Number 1, and this is something that hits very close to home for me and Arrow. Babying or playing safe on a course has to go. You got to have the end of that. Like, you know, when you're doing a team event, I suppose you want to play, you do want to play it safe. However, and maybe this is just me and Arrow, but on the courses that the judges at EO have set before, and, you know, that we practice at the team days, etc., and even the ones at tryouts, which a lot of you probably ran at Open Showcase and tryouts and stuff, you know, they're hard, man. Like, they're really hard. And you have to just go. You have to just run, and you have to go for it. And you can't be too safe, because you bloody won't make it where you need to be for the next obstacle. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's set up, a lot of judges like that, they set up things in the way. So, like, they'll put obstacles in the way of your line as a handler, so you've got to maybe layer something or run faster and get a blind to avoid it, etc. So, you know, I've spent most of Arrow's agility career babying him because of his nerves, obviously. But now I'm still in the process of learning to trust him fully, to be independent and pushing him, because I've done the opposite for years to help him out, because he's not been able to do it on his own, basically. So yeah, I've learned that in this stage in our agility careers, it's time to trust my dog and attack the course fully and give it my whole heart without worrying or overthinking or, you know, holding Arrow's hand too much or holding his paw. So yeah, that's one thing I've definitely learned. You know, if you're on Team GB, you got to go for it. Obviously, be sensible. Don't be silly and get E'd, but you know what I mean. Like, you've got to attack. You've got to trust yourself to get there. You know, trust your how you walked it. Trust your plan. Yes, have a plan B, but trust your plan and go for it. Unless, you know, if worse comes to worse and you need to change your plan last minute, do so. But you've got to trust yourself, and you've got to trust your dog, and you've got to trust the training you've done and the work you've put in, and go for it. You know, that's the point of prep, isn't it? Like, the point of prep is to get you and your dog to the point where you're confident in your ability, you've done everything you can, and now you just have to go out there and do it, basically. So that's the first thing I've learned. The second thing is that, and this one's an interesting one, which I don't think a lot of people think about too much, is the relationship between the handlers on your team is as, if not more, important than how the dogs actually perform, which sounds silly because it is all about the dog's performance at the end of the day. But, you know, we're all in our little teams of 4, and there's a big emphasis put on the relationship between who's on our teams, if that makes sense. So us in a 4, do you get what I mean? We have to know each other. We have to know each other's dogs. We have to know each other's strengths and weaknesses. We've got to get along. We've got to be able to, you know, problem solve together and, you know, maybe disagree, but be okay, be in a positive way, and maybe challenge each other's beliefs and, you know, discuss things in that sense, have that kind of, you know, working relationship with them, because you are a team. Do you get what I mean? At the end of the day, and you're working together, you're in it together, not just the 4 of you on each little team, but the entire team as a whole, you know. You've got to feel like a family almost. Like, I know it sounds really cringy and cliche, but so on my team, there's me, Marianne, Ashley and Lindsay, and part of the prep is to meet up semi-regularly for either training or just to catch up, have a discussion, you know, see where we're at, see what we're happy with, see what we're not at the moment in our own journeys, you know, because we don't all live near each other, obviously. So, you know, catch up on what's been happening, how prep's going, you know, have a laugh, talk about life, etc. And it just really helps to build that kind of foundation of the team, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I've learned that that's extremely important. And there is a big emphasis placed on that, and I can see why. Like, that is really important. So that should never be underestimated. You're a team, you've got to work together, you've got to get on, you've got to be friends. Number 3 is that course analysis and researching your judges is a non-negotiable. You have to do it. I said that wrong. Non-negotiable. Yeah, non-negotiable. There we go. You've got to analyse your courses. Like I said, at the first Team GB day, we did a lot of course analysis. We did more course analysis than we did course running. And it was really helpful, like analysing it before we ran it, running it, then reanalysing it and making any changes and rerunning it. And obviously judge research is imperative because, make the most of the fact that you get the judges that are going to be judging at EO. See what courses they've created before and designed and judged in the past at different events, because usually they have a similar style throughout all of their courses. Like, for example, me as a judge, I'll probably have, a similar style or something that I usually put in all of my courses. For example, over the winter, people kept saying I had a thing about putting tunnels under dog walks, and I wasn't even too conscious about it, but it was something I like to do. So it's picking up on those kind of things, realising what kind of things the judges that you're going to be running under put in courses and the styles of courses and how you run those courses and training them, And for me, I can't train course running too regularly because I don't have my own field or venue yet. Emphasis on yet. It's going to happen. Putting it out there now, it's going to happen. Hold me accountable. I'm holding myself accountable. It's on the podcast now. It's official. Anyway, but you can train skills, I can train little skills in the garden, and then when I go to my weekly classes on a Wednesday, I can ask my trainer if I can practice certain things. I can, ask if that could be set up for the whole group, because everyone will probably benefit from that, if they're all competing in agility, which they are. Hiring venues and setting up equipment, like hiring Dog Sports Derby, or I hire Lucy's Field, stuff like that. You can make it work. You can hire venues, you can hire equipment, you can, even take equipment across the road to a local field if you have to, even a couple of jumps or weaves or a tunnel, do you know what I mean? You can make it work, you can do your best. It's all about doing your best with what you've got and your own circumstances, but making sure that you know what to expect from each judge through research and analysis and practicing that style of courses. You're gonna set yourself up for more success than if you just go in, walk it, not knowing what to expect and think, oh God, that's actually really difficult. I haven't really practiced that. So that's important. Number 4 is that every dog is different and prep is never the same for 2 partnerships. So, a big emphasis on the team is that you know your dog best. Like management can give you certain guidelines, certain things that usually work for most people, but there is an emphasis on you know your dog best. For example, don't overdo your dog doing agility or competing in the lead up to EO. However, you know your dog best. So for me, for example, and a few other people on the team I've spoke to, the more I do with Arrow in the build up to the event, the better he'll be, because I've been his handler for 4 years. Do you know what I mean? And I know from experience that if he has time off or doesn't do much for very long, he's going to be off his head when he comes back to it. And the more I do with him, if I do quite a lot, like if I do show after show for weeks, he's going to get more consistent. Practice for him, more is more. Some dogs, more is less, and they burn out or they get bored, or, maybe they pick up little niggles, but only you know that. Do you know what I mean? Like, concentrate on you and your dog. You know exactly what benefits you and your dog the most, and whatever that is, do it. Do you know what I mean? And you'll learn more about you and your dog the more you compete with them. Do you know what I mean? And, I'm on development team with my teammates. We're kind of not necessarily younger, but newer dogs to the whole process, if that makes sense, less experienced dogs. So we're still learning about our dogs and our partnerships, and that's completely fine. By next year, we'll know even more. We'll have an EO under our belt. Do you know what I mean? And we'll know, how we prepped and how it helped, what things that we did in prep that helped, and what things we think we either shouldn't have done or should have done instead of something else, for example. And then we can improve next year. So, all you can do is your best, but you know yourself and you know your dog. So don't feel pressure from other people doing certain things with their dogs or anything like that to do the same, because what works for someone could have the opposite effect for you. And lastly, being on Team GB does not mean that you go wrong any less or win any more. Okay, just because, and this is a bit going into the handler psychology again, which I do like to speak about, as you probably know, I've got a few episodes around that. Sometimes imposter syndrome happens in all walks of life. So it's really hard, isn't it? Because sometimes, and I've had a bit of this, especially the shock of finding out you've made Team GB, in itself, and thinking, and then looking at who else has made it and thinking, oh my God, no way am I on the same team as them. That's crazy. I haven't been doing it half as long as them. My dog's not as experienced as them. No way, blah, blah, blah. Their dogs have got skills mine haven't. And a bit of imposter syndrome can kick in, but you got to get rid of it. You got to be like, no, I earned a place on this, and be confident in your ability to be on that team. You deserve it. Okay. However, also you don't want it to go the other way where you think, or you put the pressure on yourself when you go to every show. You should think, I'm on Team GB. I should be winning everything. I should not be going wrong. And I should be beating everyone else, etc. Do you get what I mean? Because sometimes if you go wrong, then you're like, I shouldn't be going wrong. I'm on Team GB, for God's sake. Or you could be like, oh no, I'm on Team GB and I've just gone wrong all weekend. Does that mean I'm not worthy? Get rid of it. Just get rid of that. It doesn't change anything in that sense. You're still going to go wrong. You're still going to have really bad days. You're still going to get ease. Your dog's still not going to keep all the poles up. Definitely not still bitter. But you know what I mean. So don't let it put unnecessary pressure on you in either way. Either in an imposter syndrome way or in a I should be winning, doing better because I'm on Team GB, if that makes sense. So that's important. And I think, again, that's something that people don't think about. And that's not just Team GB, like anything. You could say, oh, I've been doing agility for this long. I should be doing better. My dog has been doing agility for this long. I should be doing any better. I train with this person. I should be doing better. You're still going to have bad days no matter your circumstances, all right? It's as simple as that. So that's it. That's it. That's my 5 points. And it's 9:02 and I'm still awake. And I should probably wrap this podcast episode up before 9 so that I don't completely pass out. But I believe I have been going for half an hour, 27 minutes. So that's not bad considering I am a tired little girl. I'm very, very tired. But that was a good episode, Short but sweet. I think that was quite valuable. And remember, I'm only probably about halfway into my prep for EO. Probably a bit more, actually. I don't know. It's gone so fast. It feels like less time than it probably has been, if that makes sense, since I made the team. But anyway, so when did I make the team? March, April, May, June. No, it probably is halfway. 2 months and then there's another 2 months, yeah. So that's what I've learned pretty much, or the 5 main points I've learned during EO prep so far, about halfway into it. My first time on senior Team GB. It's very different to when I was on YKC Team GB 2017, 18 and 19. Obviously, agility was different back then. What's that? 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's 5 years ago. All right? It's going to be different, isn't it? So it's important for me to update you guys on my experience. I mean, loads of you were interested in my experience on YKC Team GB, and I'm pretty sure I did do an episode on that at the start of my podcast, I think. Start series 1-ish, so go check that out if you want to hear how it was for me back then. But that was a very long time ago. It's changed, seniors a bit different to juniors anyway. And even the junior process is probably totally different now than it was then. As it should be, things change, things adapt. But yeah, that's what I've learned so far. It's been a super fun journey so far. And it sounds really cheesy, but I'm so grateful to be on Team GB. It is, like I said, one of my major bucket list goals in life, just for my entire lifetime. And it's happened. So here's to a great and valuable first year on Agility Team GB for the seniors. And hopefully this development year will lead to many more years for me being on the team with Arrow and Future Dogs. And that's it. So you know the drill. Leave the podcast a rating and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you would like. I would very much appreciate that. share it with people who you think might enjoy it or benefit from it at all. Follow me on all the socials at Pause in Pursuit. Pretty much any social media platform you can think of, I am on it. However, that will also be in the description, so follow those links and give me a follow. I'm active on most of the socials pretty much every single day. This podcast is also on YouTube if you would like to listen to it there. I'm still doing just audio at the moment because at times like this, 9 p.m, when I am in my PJs, pretty much in bed, I've like slunk down into my bed. I'm nearly laid down now. And I can just lounge around and just speak, and I prefer it than being on camera, if I'm honest. So I love that, but we're still on YouTube, we're still on all 3 platforms, and I'm rambling now, so I'm going to say goodbye. I will probably see a lot of you at Hinckley this weekend. I also hope you guys enjoy the fact that I'm recording every Tuesday now when I do my solo episodes, so it's more live. You get a full week of my updates and the upcoming show for the week, and etc. I have a very exciting guest lined up for either next week or the week after or the week after. It will be soon, don't you worry. I think you're going to enjoy it, guys, so definitely make sure to follow the podcast so you don't miss that. Lots of ideas for the podcast coming up. And yeah, I'm still loving it. Series 2, episode 3, I'm still loving it. But without further ado, I'm going to go to bed now, and I'll speak to you next Wednesday. Bye, guys.